Hello, Mr. Cobbler. This is your friend Denny from Canada. I made this video for you to show you what I would like to implement in DoubleCommander. This video will show you some rearrangement, some description of things I would like to commit that I did in the recent weeks. Instead of having to move the mouse cursor over the preset drop list and select it and then click load, because you know if you change and you forget to click load, it doesn't load the setup. You need absolutely to click load at each time. We'll suggest to have a shortcut key like F2, for example, that will bring us immediately to the drop list. This way, when we are in the main program and we select our thing, we press Ctrl M, then F2, and we're ready to select our filter. And also, as you see, as we cycle through them, we see immediately the effect of it instead of having to click load every time. Another thing I didn't like was the fact that one of the most important filter is probably regarding the file name itself, and we are not able to see it totally sometime for some setup that we make. So I would suggest to rearrange things this way, to have the things for the uppercase, lowercase under it, so it make it bigger. And also previously, if we thought about resizing the window, it was still not making the file name filter larger. But here, let's suppose we put it larger. Suggest to have a splitter here, for example, where we could rearrange thing and have our file name larger. Another thing I dislike, it is regarding the order of the preset. It's not in alphabetical order. It's based basically on the hash signature of the setup name. And also, when we add something, for example, let's suppose I have the Sunday edition, I had the new one with 2. Right now it will be sorted at the end because it's the last one I just had. If I close and then reopen it, it will not be at the end. It will not be just after the Sunday edition. There is another one between. So what I would suggest would to have something like that, where first of all it remember where it is. So let's suppose I go to the Sunday edition 2. Let's suppose I click to save as a new one like 3. It will be at the end because it has been added. If I close and I go back there, it will still be at the end. And if I need to sort it, add something like that, sort. And here we have our list, and then we can do drag and drop and put them in the order we want. And if we want to have them first, then we can drag them first and it will be there. And if we want to have GUID first, we drag it there. If we want to have this, this, and this, we drag it there, and so on. And if we want a shortcut here to automatically sort them by alphabetical order, so this way it will be easy to find the one we want. Another thing I would suggest, I added many shortcuts regarding the mask, and I will show you that. The person who gets used to access it via the button with the 3 dots would still be able to do it, but someone who will remember that Ctrl F2 would bring up a pop-up immediately for it, so we'll not need to use the mouse to select it. And also the focus remain in the file name, not in the 3-point button like it was before. So we are ready to keep selecting new thing. And if someone remember, here there is also a shortcut directly for the file name thing, directly for the extension applied to the file name. So if I click Ctrl F3, I'm ready to access it. Ctrl F5 for the date, Ctrl F6 for the time, Ctrl F7 for the counter, stuff like that. So it helps a little bit to speed up things. And same thing for the extension, but simply adding Shift Ctrl F7 for the counter, Shift F3, Control Shift for the name, and all these Control Shift are the same shortcut used to sort. So Control F3 is sort by name, Control F4 by extension, F5 by time. So same thing here when we use the shortcut with the same key. Another thing I would suggest is to be able to configure the internal command MultiRename, so we can pass a parameter called preset and then we can write the name of the preset we want to load. For example, here I have set up one with La soirée est encore jeune, and then I will set up another one with De vive voix. So if I go there, select rename, MultiRename tool, La soirée est encore jeune, it is ready with my setup, La soirée est encore jeune. Then if I select the other one, De vive voix, bang, it load the setup De vive voix. So this way I don't even have to select it there. I have it, I can invoke it directly from the main panel. Also, another thing I would suggest, as you know, as I did with the configuration, I dislike when we attempt to exit a configuration without having been confirmed if we want to save the modification or not. So I would suggest to have the same thing regarding the setup. In the extra configuration I'm suggesting, there is a way to configure that. Exit with modified preset. If it is at ignore, it will be like before. So if we change anything and we exit, it exits immediately. But if we want to be prompt user to confirm if we want to save it. So if I attempt to rename something, then change a filter, attempt to exit, and it will ask us, preset has been modified, do you want to save it now? And the other configuration would be save automatically. So obviously if I go there, change something and exit, if I come back there in the soirée est encore jeune preset, my modification has been saved. Me personally, I like this one, prompt user to confirm. Another setting I would suggest to have, still in the configuration of the MultiRename, it is the launching behavior. By default, it is last mask under last one preset. So this was the way it was working already, but could be last preset. So if, for example, if we exit while we were on the vive voix, if I click Ctrl M to come back to the MultiRename, it remember I am with the vive voix. If I select other file, restart, still remember which one. Someone could select to always start from something fresh, like it was visibly originally before we could save setup. Me personally, I like the last preset. Another thing I would suggest is to have a menu here. Probably at first the person might be lost to don't see the load, save, delete that were there before, but I think with all the functionality it add with the pop-up here, and with all the keyboard shortcut we have, the person will quickly forget about the button that are under for all the functionalities it gives. With the shortcut to quickly load the preset, to quickly drop the list to access it, and all the possibilities of renaming a setup, to copy it doing the save as. I use F12 as Microsoft use it in some application, and also the sort that I think we'll see later. You will see that in my suggestion I'm not changing everything from everywhere. It would have been easy to change it more than that, but it is very similar to what it was, and instead of adding thousands of new options from there and there and to all jam-pack the area, simply add the configuration button for the option I think could be useful, that we'll cover later in this video. Also in the configuration, I would suggest to have in the hotkey a special category dedicated for the MultiRename, So all the command in the MultiRename would suggest to be in the same form as the other command that we have in DoubleCommander, and so we can define the hotkeys for it. Coming from other application, we get used to press F2 to load our preset. So would suggest here to have the same thing in our setup. If we press F2, immediately we are able to access other one. And also with the other, we were able to simply press Escape to exit. So I would suggest that close would be the shortcut Escape that will do the same thing instead of having to click the X like before. Also, I tried at this point to don't add too many new masks, but I had at least a year, month, day, and hour, minute, second, because I'm not alone. I know we're using it. I had something called GUID and something for something variable. Let's do an example here of what I mean by with the variable. Let's suppose I do totally a new one that I will save it as a demo variable. So basically what I would do would be something like 2019. Then I want to ask to the user the month, ask something with a variable. Here I will type the variable name, will be a kind of int, enter the month 2-digit. Basically this is for me to remember, for the user to remember. And then here something related with the name of the file that is already there. So what it will do when we will invoke the rename, because I have a v here, it will ask the question that we have here, and the number we will type will be what will be used. Let's suppose I save that. La soirée est encore jeune, for example. Overwrite, yes. So if I click rename, it prompts me because it met the value there, so I will say that it is for the month of December. Click OK, and then it rename our file based on that pattern. The other one regarding the GUID, it is simply a GUID. Basically, it is almost to rename file randomly. So this is the only two things I added for the moment. I have a few others in mind that I'm using, I would like to use from time to time, but for the moment I didn't do that. And but I think it will be easier to add them in the future. Another thing I would like to improve is regarding the log. Certainly we can enable to log the result, but we need absolutely to type or paste the path there, and the box is a little bit small. So I would suggest to rearrange things to enable if we want to have a log. And here we have an actual requester where we can point directly location, like I will do for my DoubleCommander log. So let's suppose I will call this rename log. So if I rename my file, it will create a log there. Could be nice to have a button to view the result. Also, I would suggest to have the special dir functionality, to make it relative for portable environment. Let's suppose here I will select. I will change my setup. Let's say to create another one, and also would suggest to have an append here. If we append the result, then if we go in the log and we go through that time, we will see that okay, on this date we renamed the file from this to this. Also, would suggest in the configuration thing about log. Here my log is per preset, but could be nice for all the setting to have it to a global file. You know, all the rename go to the same file. I have an option to store it individually, day by day, and you know, in a directory separate by day, and to have the full file name, because sometimes when we rename file and we look at the log, we are not sure. It could be nice to know where it's coming from. So with all these settings, let's suppose I close it to restart from something fresh. If I go there, I see that I cannot change it. I cannot change it because it has been set in configuration to be global. So if I click to rename it, and I can, all these are great, but regarding the view, it's still enabled, and I can look at it. So here I can see that on the 28th, at this time I did these rename, and I have all my history of rename. The one I just did are regarding these one, and like we see, we have the complete path. Not necessary for the destination since it's the file that we rename. Another thing also is the fact that I made the effort to recuperate all the languages that have been translated. So if I go in Russian, you will see that many of the things are already translated because I reuse it. Obviously, the configuration have not been translated because I was not able to find similar strings somewhere else. But regarding many things, I was able to recuperate what was already translated. So that's it for my video. I'm sorry if it was a little bit long, but I wanted to make sure it would cover all the settings and the option I wanted to present you for what I would like to commit. So please let me know if I can commit that, and if not, please let me know what I should modify. Thank you.